Welcome back to Dash Explore. I'm Sarah, and today I'm here to talk to you about how to apply for a US passport for your child under the age of 16. Now, I'm definitely not an expert in how to apply for a passport, but I have recently gone through it with my children, and as I've said in some of my previous videos, I'm here to share my experiences in the hopes that it helps you feel more comfortable getting out and traveling with your kids and with your family. So if you're feeling a little overwhelmed or intimidated by the process, I hope that sharing my experiences helps you get a little more comfortable and take that next step in getting out and traveling. I also understand that every family looks different and you might have different circumstances than me and my family. So if that's the case for you, make sure you consult the US government passport website to make sure that you are bringing the right documents and have the right information for you and your family. I will also only be going over how to apply for a passport for your children, as Andrew and I already had our passports, and it's still 7 more years until we need to renew our passports. And also make sure that you're consulting the US government passport website before officially applying for your passport so that you make sure you have the most up-to-date information. We went through the application process for our daughters in June of 2023, so keep that in mind as I go through our process for applying for passports for our children. The first thing I want to note is that if you are even thinking about taking an international trip, please start this process as soon as you finish this video, or even pause it as you're going along and get things started now. Things change all the time, and getting a passport does take a considerable amount of time. It's always better to have it when you need it than to be rushing around and trying to get your passport last minute. As I've already mentioned, the best place to start is going to the US government passport website to see all of the information, the documents, and the forms that you need for the passport application process. A quick Google search will lead you to their website, but I've also left the link below if you would like to start there. Once you're at the US government passport website, make sure you click on the link for applying for passports under the age of 16. It will lead you to the forms and the list of legal documents that you will need to bring with you when you go to your official passport application interview. The most important step in applying for a passport is filling out the DS-11 form, which you can find on their website, fill out online, and print from home. In addition to filling out the DS-11 form, you will also need to schedule an interview time, usually at your local post office, so that you, your children, and all the legal guardians of your children can submit your official application. For this appointment, there is a search tool on the US Passport website where you can find your local US Passport office and schedule a time that works best for you. It is important to note that all legal guardians of your child must be present in order to submit a passport application. So keep that in mind during your scheduling process. The next thing you need to do is get your child's passport photo taken. You can take them yourself, but I've heard horror stories of people showing up for their interview and being turned away because their photos aren't correct. There are a lot of stipulations about what makes a proper US passport photo, so we decided to go to Walgreens to ensure that they were done correctly. Today is June 24th, 2023, and we are on our way to get some passport pictures for these silly goose girls back there.
So that we can go international.
Yes, ready to take these girls on a big trip. There are some passport offices that offer in-house photos, but I didn't want to risk machines being down or cameras being broken, and personally, I just wanted to have all of my information before I went and not leaving anything up to chance. If you choose to get your photos taken at a pharmacy like we did, when you arrive at their photo center, make sure you tell them you are applying for a passport photo for your children, and whoever is working will help assist you to make sure that your passport photos are taken correctly. Especially for a baby, this can be difficult, so I sat and held Delaney on my lap while Andrew stood behind me and tried to get her to smile. Haley, however, was a superstar and stood and smiled nicely. It takes a while for your photos to be printed, so we also enjoyed a fun family day, walking around Walgreens, playing with the stuffed animals, and finding other ways that we could entertain our children while we waited. So now that you've scheduled your interview, had your passport photo taken, and completed and printed out your DS-11 form, here's a list of the other documents that you should bring with you to ensure that you are completely ready to go when it comes time for your passport interview. As mentioned before, all legal guardians of your child must be present in order to complete a passport application. So I made sure to schedule our appointment for a time that both Andrew and I could be there so that we could make sure everything is submitted on time. You also will need to make sure that you print out your DS-11 form after you complete it, and I also opted to bring a photocopy of the DS-11 forms for both girls just in case anything went wrong. You will also need to bring your child's original birth certificate as well as a photocopy, and keep in mind that all of these things will be submitted with their passport application, so if you need it for back to school or sports or any other situation, make sure you have several copies at home because you will be without your child's original birth certificate for several weeks after you submit your application. We received the girls' original birth certificates back within a week to 10 days of receiving their passports, which was about 12 weeks from when we submitted their application. All of your child's legal guardians will also need to bring their photo ID as well as a photocopy of their photo ID to be submitted with their application. Again, don't forget to bring your child's passport photo, and you'll also need to bring a check to pay for the passport and the application. You can consult the US government passport website to see what your fees will be for your passport. Our office also accepted debit cards, because I might have forgotten our check, but that might not be the case at all passport offices, so it's always important to double and triple check to make sure you bring your check, unlike me. When going to our interview, I opted the motto that it was best to bring photocopies of as many things as I could, just to make sure that I had everything that we needed. Okay, passports are submitted, applied for, paid for, all hopefully done correctly. We'll find out in a couple weeks. So as of March of 2023, our local post office says that the regular passports should take about 10 to 13 weeks to arrive, and the expedited passports I think are 7 to 9 weeks. Hopefully they come a little sooner than that. Printing the form and filling that out ahead of time made things super easy. Having the copies of the birth certificates and our licenses, all of that made things go pretty smooth. So hopefully they show up and everything's correct, and we can get the heck out of here. And as good as I am at documenting things, unfortunately I did not document when we actually received their passports, but from what I remember, it was pretty much right between the 11 and 12 week mark from when we submitted our applications. I also want you to remember that this is just a general overview of the passport application process, and that every family's circumstances could be different. So again, consult the US government passport website if you have any concerns or questions, or to double check your document list to make sure that you have the most up-to-date information and that you have everything you need for your interview. Hi. So I am sitting here editing this video, and I realized I forgot to mention something kind of important, and that is that your child's passport will be valid for 5 years from the date that it is processed. So just keep that in mind as you're going through all of this, especially if you have a child who is close in age to the cutoff. Maybe they're 15 years old and you might not have any trips planned. It might benefit you to wait a couple months until they turn 16, because the US passports for 16-year-olds are valid for 10 years. So that just buys you a little bit more time before you need to renew it and pay that big fee again. So just keep that in mind as you're going through this process, and let's get back to the video. If you're anything like me, anything to do with legal documents, legal forms can feel a little intimidating and overwhelming, and you want to make sure you do it correctly. So I hope that by sharing our experiences, you will feel more comfortable with taking this next step and getting your family out and seeing the world. I hope you found the information in today's video helpful. I know personally it helps me to hear from other people's experiences, and I hope that this gives you the confidence to go forward and officially submit your child's passport application. If you found the information in today's video helpful, make sure you give this video a like, and if you want to follow along more with our family's travel adventures, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you can get notified when we post new videos. You can also head over to Instagram to see more of our family travel adventures. Thanks so much for watching. We hope to see you next time.